Are you looking to level up your author business?
Are you pounding your head against a wall, wondering what your next step should be? Then join me, Daniel Wilcox.
And me, Sasha Black, as we haul ass each week in a bid to level up.
Level up!
Come along for the ride as we delve deep into the business of writing,
Craft,
entrepreneurship,
and every level of the author journey. This is the Next Level Author Podcast.
Hello, Achievers. This is episode 81 of the Next Level Author Podcast, a podcast where we hold each other to account and track our step-by-step progress as we level up our author business. My name is Sasha Black, and here with me every week is...
Daniel Wilcox.
Hello, buddy. How are you? How's your week been?
You know what? It's been a good week this week. Just not like amazing, not like... It's just good. Like, it's been like a solid week. I have had news with my house, so I'm now at the point where like paperwork is starting to fly left, right, and center, and it looks like things could be closed up in the next few weeks, and I'll have some kind of moving date. And just in general, that has lifted like a huge weight off my shoulders because I didn't realize I was basically just in limbo for ages. I got to the point where like I'd done what I needed to do. And then we were waiting on the seller to send some stuff over. And then there was all the sort of behind the scenes solicitor stuff. And it was just a limbo. Like I didn't know what was going on. And now we're at the point where literally I got thrown about 10 different documents and went, okay, here are the things you need to sign. Here are the different things, send them over, sorted out closing like a help to buy ISA and all that kind of jargon that I need to do. And yeah, so that has lifted away. And then I've also, and this kind of goes into the thing that I've enjoyed this week, I've also been running my NaNoWriMo Preppers challenge this week, which has been a lot of fun because it's a free challenge. It's run Monday we're recording this on Friday, so today is the last day, and ended up getting 94 people involved on the Facebook group, which is awesome. Like very, very happy with that. And it also confirmed one of my theories about the last minuters, because we were advertising for about 2 or 3 weeks, and we had probably maybe about 30 people with 5 days left to go. And then literally the last 2 days, it was just person. And I think I've said this on this podcast before, but in my old job when we used to run events, it used to be very, very similar. When something launched, you normally get a bit of a tail and then it dips down and basically you get barely anything. It just trickles over however many weeks you run the campaign. Mm-hmm. And in that last 2 days specifically, everyone suddenly goes, oh, if I don't do this now, I miss out. And it actions people to do the thing. So yeah, it's been fun, and I've had lots of people in there just chatting. It's been nice to see some people from Next Level Authors. We've had people like Bobby and Ember and Ara getting involved, and yeah, just it's been a solid little week.
Love it.
How about yours?
I'm really pleased for you. I completely understand the limbo thing with the house. I remember it well. It's not a fun place to be, but I'm so excited for you to like get your own place. I am really super excited. I can't wait to crack a bottle of champers on your door as if it was a boat and we name the house.
Just swing it
just
on a bit of rope.
Lob it, big hand. Wake up! No. I'm so excited. I can't wait to celebrate with you. And soon.
Gotta get a Christmas tree.
Yeah, you do. How's my week been? My week has been fantastic. I am like really on a roll here with joy. Like I genuinely attribute it to having finished loads of stuff. I think I got so many energy pennies from just finishing shit. And I'm trying to continue that role of finishing things. So I'm trying really hard not to take anything else on. I've got a beta read for my critique partner that I have decided to take on sooner rather than later. And the reason for that is I want to go into next year completely clear. So I'm going to do that. And yeah, like I can't explain how much joy I'm experiencing on so many different levels, and having the time and the space has meant that I can like randomly pivot and like add extra things in that are actually things that I really want to do. So I can talk about that shortly. And you recall there was a thing, you had a thing for a long time, which you then announced, and then I had a thing. And then we've not spoken about that thing. And I still can't really speak about that thing. But last night, the thing more or less got pushed over the line. And so now I'm just waiting for the proverbial ink to dry. And then I will be able to announce, and it is exciting for me. It's exciting for me. So I can't wait to share that.
Is that the next NLA t-shirt line? Don't talk about the thing.
Yeah, the thing. Hashtag the thing. Yeah, and what else? Yeah, I don't know. I've just been working really hard this week on the right things, and that has also brought me joy. So yeah, I don't know. I'm in a good place. Okay, so we've done a check-in. Level up.
Level up. We have this week comes to you from Carrie Hardisky, who says, I am counting this as a huge level up. This YouTube channel reviewed my Vela project and I have not stopped smiling since the video went live.
Aww.
It's only 5 minutes long. He read the first 3 chapters of the video since they're free. I never thought anything would come from this project. It's fun to write and I thought the pennies earned would be a nice little perk. Literal pennies. I made 11 cents in August, LOL. I want to go through the other reviews for other stories to read. That's huge. I love it when you actually get sort of real evidence that people are reading your book, because
I know.
just writing it for hours on end in a silent room and then you throw it out into the internet for people who will likely not contact you to read it on a device. It's really nice when you get those moments of someone just reaching out or, sharing that they've enjoyed your stuff. So well done, Carrie.
Agree.
That's awesome.
Okay, and so patrons, any new patrons?
No new patrons this week, but for anyone that wants to get more from the show, get the behind the scenes, go and join into our live Q&As, which the next one is on October the 20th. Then you can head on over to patreon.com/nextlevelauthors.
That's next week.
That's next week. Well, what will be tomorrow if you're listening to this on the day of release.
Yeah. Notices. Do you have a notice? I have a notice.
Yours. I'm excited for yours.
So I am running a spontaneous last minute masterclass. Not last minute really, because it's 2 weeks. It feels last minute to me because I haven't had it planned in for 7,000 months. But no, I am going to run a Halloween special masterclass all about villains. So we are going to look at creating a villain as a protagonist, which is a little unusual. We're going to be looking at villain arcs, origin stories, how to give your villains more depth. And if you participate, then you will also get the recording, you will get audio transcripts, you will get the slide deck, you'll get a cheat sheet type thing to take away, and you'll get access to that for like EVs. And also fancy dress is encouraged. I am going to be in fancy dress whilst presenting and teaching this. Bring a bit of poison, steal some candy from kids, all of that good stuff. Yeah, and it's going to be on... So for people in America, it will be sort of afternoon time. And for people in the UK, it will be evening of Halloween after the kiddos are in bed. And then for people on the other side of the world in sort of Australia and New Zealand, it will be first thing in the morning on the Monday, the 1st of November. So yeah, if you would like to find out more, then visit sashablack.co.uk, click shop, and then it is like the first item in the shop at the moment. Yeah, come join me. I am like fucking giddy with excitement at getting to teach this and dig into a topic that is like one of my favorite topics. And it's also stuff I haven't presented on before. So like there are some things like that you may have heard me speak about, but a lot of this is shaping villains in a different direction, like as protagonists. So yeah, this will be new stuff. So yeah, I'm excited. Love it. That's very exciting. Are you going to dress up as a pizza? I am not going to dress up as a pizza. As a Hawaiian pizza. I could never take that away from Jenna. Like the only person that can dress up as a pizza and get away with it is Jenna. So yeah, I could never do that. I just couldn't. I just would be in her shadow. So there you go. A large triangular shadow. Yeah. For me, bootcamp NaNoWriMo is fast approaching. For people who joined my Preppers Challenge, if you're listening to this on the day that it comes out, you will have received a discount code as for getting involved in the challenge. But yeah, it's less than 2 weeks now until Nano. So if you want to find a community, if you want to get involved with the challenge and really be part of a go get it community, we have sort of tracking sheets, we have live Zoom sprints, we have a whole online community dedicated to helping people reach that 50,000 word goal. Then head on over to danielwilcox.com/nano. NaNoWriMo. What have you enjoyed this week?
Nothing. This week's been shit. The prep challenge, like honestly, it's I was talking to a friend this week. Like, I still find it bizarre that we can put content out there, advertise a thing, and then people come and they like consume the stuff that we put into the world. And because the bizarre thing is, this will be my 6th nano. I failed my first, but I don't count that as a failure because it still basically tripled how many words I was getting in a month. And then since then, it's been 4 completed nanos. And, you know, all the author coaching and stuff has happened over the last year. Like last boot camp, I got to actually work with authors and see how other people get themselves through nano. And so essentially what I gave out this week was a book's worth of stuff on how to conquer nano, which, you know, I might turn into a book. Who knows? It's at least like 10,000 words at this point. And so, yeah, it's just been fun seeing it like help people. Lots of people getting involved in sharing their own tips and their own wisdom. And it reminds me, and I always like being reminded, just how everyone has their own path to writing their book. So programs and things that I'm familiar with, other people have like suggested that people have different writing tips, different like reward systems. And it's just, yeah, it's been nice sort of just getting involved and chatting to other authors and helping.
I love it.
How about you?
Well, so the thing I've enjoyed this week is Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune.
That's your second TJ Klune this year.
That is my second TJ Klune this year. This is going to be one of the masterclasses that I'm running, which is why there are so many sticker tabs in it. So Rebel Readers.
Looks like it's got a disease.
Yeah, it does. So for listeners who can't see, the book is like, it's a massacre of sticky notes, basically. But this is part of Rebel Readers. So people at a certain Patreon level get a masterclass on a book. So we all read the same book and I deconstruct it. And then I take out like the tools and things that this author uses and show writers how to use them. So, and then put them into their own work, which is cool. So I'm choosing this for 2 reasons. The first reason is that I enjoyed the book. So much so that the reason I have a face full of makeup this morning is because my eyes are really puffy because I sobbed hysterically last night whilst reading the end of the book. Literally for the last 70 pages, I just cried. Like
if any tears got on the book, we can't be friends.
Oh yeah, you don't want to be friends with me anyway. Should we have a look at how many scribbles I've got in the book?
Oh,
I know. Look, literally, hang on a second. Hang on. Where is the mid page? I was just going to show you the mid page.
Oh my God, this is equivalent of me like seeing just like line after line of dead badgers at the side of the road.
Or me seeing bent spines, which I can't stand. Anyway, so I enjoyed the book, right? So that's the first thing. I actually enjoyed the book. I thought the book was great. No spoilers at all, but it's very much in theme for the House of Cerulean Sea that I read. The other reason I chose it is because I had forgotten how much joy I get from deconstructing a book. Like, and I can't remember, I think it was Caitlin that I was talking about. And I was like, in some ways, I really wish I had Dan's skill where I could just absorb the things, but that's not how my brain works. I have to deconstruct it to understand how each process operates, and that gives me energy pennies. And I went back to my Clifton Strengths report, and there's literally a line in there that basically says you enjoy like deconstructing things down to like to find out how things operate and then communicating those. And I was like, oh yeah, that makes so much sense. So yeah, that is a thing that I'm going to keep doing. And I think that is going to help me run more masterclasses. So I'm just sort of intellecting on that. But yeah, really, really thoroughly enjoyed both the deconstruction and the reading of it. And I now cannot wait to create some masterclass slides.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I do want to add one very, very quick one because this just popped back into my head and it has brought me so much joy this week. There's an Instagram account for a guy called it's something like Francis Bourgeois, and then there's a number after it. He's a train spotter who is, I'd say, probably like mid-20s, late 20s. And he basically just stands at bridges and waits for trains, and he tells you what trains are going to come, and then the train comes past. And if the train, honks its horn, or as he calls them, like tones, he laughs and he gets so much joy from just watching trains. And my favorite part of this you have to watch the video to find out. We'll have to put a link in the show notes. But he has this sort of GoPro on his head at such an angle that when he's laughing and you see the delight in his face, it warps his face to almost look like Sid the Sloth from Ice Age. And
Amazing.
it's clearly done in a deliberate way, but he seems so like genuinely thrilled at these different trains that he sees, and like every time it pops up, it just fills me with joy. So we'll share that link. But
Yeah, that's
Francis
amazing.
Bourgeois.
Yeah. Okay, so weekly confessional. We agreed to discuss accountability and how that was going to run. So Dan, would you like to tell everyone what we have decided?
Yeah, so I think this was also suggested by a few people in the comments, and we massively agreed. So we obviously want to level up kind of alongside you guys. So what we're going to do is we're going to set the quarterly challenges, and then me and Sasha are obviously going to put in our typical accountability, but it'll be probably a bit more thoughtful and deliberate over what we achieve for those 3 months to level up our business. And then the forfeit that we assign to people who, I hate using the word fail, but don't quite hit their goals. We will be a part of that as well, but then we're also going to have our own separate forfeits that go on top of that. So that's one thing we didn't decide is what we're going to do specifically for this one, or we can just kind of like do that as a surprise thing if it happens.
Yeah,
because then we could have potentially like people voting and get involved in things. But yes, that's what we're going to do. We're going to go on that curtain. We're going to ride the train. No, it is next to the mic, so I don't know.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, it was picking up.
But yeah, so we're gonna ride it, do it all with you guys, and yeah, it's going to be every 3 months now. And with that, should we read out? Is it worth us saying like what our things are going to be for?
Yeah.
So for this quarter, I am going to, one of these will hopefully happen either way, move house. And then my 3 sort of businessy ones, I'm going to be attending my coaching apprenticeship, and I'm going to make sure that I action the tasks at the end of each session, because I'm paying for this and it's valuable, and I really want to. I often find that I don't have time to do the follow-up stuff, and I really want to envelop myself in what is learned. I will have sorted out the Activated Authors 2022 calendar and also actioned the first 2 months of content. So I've got like a couple of big campaigns I want to run in January and February, so I'll make sure that they're set up to go. And then I will be running an author survey for my productivity book, because I want to get real author feedback to help inform some of the things I'm saying, to make it as useful a book as possible when I finally get around to properly writing it next year.
Excellent.
Do you want me to read yours, or have you got yours?
Yes.
Okay. Sasha will read 30 books this quarter. She's going to create a logo for the new thing. The thing is back.
Yeah.
Create a plan.
I have 2 things, so I'm just being a total jerk, but I have 2 things. So.
We'll create a plan for a series of masterclasses, and we'll edit the accepted anthology stories for the Rebel Author Anthology.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so we're on to the question of the week, are we not?
No.
Oh.
Quick announcement for people. This post will be up when this podcast airs. I know we said this last week, but it's been a busy week. Just a congratulations on the winners of the prizes for the quarter 3 challenge. So John Cronshaw, you have won a 30-minute call with myself and Sasha. Ida, you have won a hardback copy of my self-publishing blueprint, and Ara has won the copy of your 10 Steps to Heroes workbook. And well done for everyone getting involved. And I do want to say also just a nod to Chelsea for filming her egg juggling.
Yeah, I loved that. And I also loved Cassie's video as well. That proper made me cackle.
Mm-hmm.
Can I just also point out, can the winners please direct message us? That would be fantastic, with addresses and things.
Perfecto.
Yeah. Okay, so you know how we do this thing where like the question of the week gets filtered through the intro?
We also haven't done comments.
Oh, why is that not on? Oh yeah. So it's because I was looking at the wrong thing. So comments.
Okay, comments from last week's How Do You Choose Your Genre? I mean, we had loads and they were all very long and very thoughtful. And unfortunately, we don't have time to. There were some beautiful ones.
Really long, lovely comments. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going to nod to Carrie, who says, I was laughing so much and nearly choked on my coffee multiple times due to a hilarious fantasy was kind of a given for me. I've always loved reading it. I would do online role playing with friends, and we would come up with wild stories. So some of those characters turned into a book cast since they've been in my head since high school. Victoria says, I write what I love to read. There are other genres that I enjoy, but I always come back to cozy mysteries. And then Renee says, This week has been a week of epiphanies from, oh, I'm not lazy, I was just sick, to a brilliant and beautiful young soul helping me to realize that I'm putting too much pressure on myself, to this week's episode. Thank you for the question, Dan, and thank you, Sasha, for reminding me that pressure stifles creativity. If I'm burned out on the day job, then I need to find another day job, not put all of this pressure on my fiction writing to pay the bills. Mm-hmm. It completely sucks the joy out of it and has made me avoid the keyboard. It stressed me out and I'm tired of being stressed. Whatever happens will happen, and I will just keep writing what inspires me and what I love, even if it is in 3 different genres or 20. I have some soul searching to do, and between the past week's sprint and this episode, it has helped me to decide to write something completely different through Nano, and not with the intent to try and make money from it, just because. Thanks, guys.
So I just want to come back on that because I think what you said to me just before we came on has solidified the decision in my brain. I'm
very wise. Go on.
I'm just not even going to dignify that with a response. I have decided I will never write to market. I will never put that pressure on my fiction. I really love nonfiction, and I don't mind the pressure being on that. Because it's fun in a different way, but I really just want to write the fiction that I want to write, and that's it. That's the end of it.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah. And so I am never going to worry about it making money. I am always going to try and push it, and I'm always going to try and get it to make money, but I'm never going to worry about it making money. I can happily take the pressure of the nonfiction making the money and that being the business, and that's okay. And I don't think it was until just this morning that I was actually genuinely okay. I think I was saying that and I knew it, but I didn't feel it, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And I think, it really, this morning, I've kind of realized that actually that is the thing that I want to do for fun. And therefore I always want it to be the thing that brings joy, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? Rather than it having that pressure associated with it.
I feel like I write a better story if it's, really creatively satisfying. And often it's the books that I read that are somewhat different. So Mongrels that I read last week and kind of raved about, that was so out of trope for horror. Like, it still had a lot of the elements, but it was so different that it caught my attention and I loved it and it was beautiful. So, actually doing it for creativity instead of commercial. And again, it's not for everyone, but I'm right there with you. That's kind of where I'm going.
Okay. Now it's question of the week. Okay, so I was so excited to ask you this, and I really hope you go into detail as well.
I'm an Aries.
And if you don't, I might push you a little bit to go into detail, because I have had the benefit of thinking about this for 2 days. And I don't know if it's subconscious that we end up talking about the thing before we ask the question. But anyway, do you know who Marie Kondo is?
I am more than aware of Marie Kondo.
Okay, so you know that she talks about this concept of sparking joy.
Uh-huh.
I want to know what things in your business spark that true, genuine joy, that soul lighting up, heart filling, body warming, genital tingling joy.
Are you going off on 2 different tangents there? Which answer do you want?
The clean answer, please.
Oh, where's the fun in that? So, like, the one that jumps, because I think there's a few things that will hop around. One of the ones that has definitely popped up recently, like, something that really lights my fire and makes me happy is when I'm running my writing sprints with the Activated Authors group, and you can really tell there's like a fire in the group and the conversations are going and people are excited about something, and it's like just a good atmosphere and it really feels like a community. And in those moments, because I ran the bootcamp last year just as a one-off, and it's kind of grown into this rolling thing. And there was a point very, very early last year when I was starting to look at sort of like seeding it into a regular thing, that I was like, is this something I want to do? Because it's not a small commitment to say to people, like, every month, every week, this is where we're sitting now. This is the thing, like, it's a thing I've got to commit to. And I was really on the fence, not about, the people joining or the actual running of it, but just whether or not it was a direction I wanted to go. And because you make one choice and you're removing another choice, and what did that mean? And like there have, like, for example, on Thursday this week, we've had a few, like, the morning and the evening sprints. It was just a good vibe. It was just like people were supportive, and they connect on like a level that transcends the actual writing. And it's that stuff where I can sit there and I can just be happy and either watch people talking, or just there's that little thing of knowing that you're helping like facilitate this. And I had a message from a new person that's joined Activated Authors this week, who has basically said the exact reason why I put the community together, which is they are fairly new to writing, but they feel really isolated in what they're doing, and they're just looking for a place where they can meet people and really connect on a human level. Because I think we join groups often to further our writing, and we look for specific craft things or genre things. And the point of Activated Authors is it's joining people on that human level and giving people like a home. So I mean, that is genuinely one thing that just brings me joy. And then, I mean, one of them is just seeing my books with my name on the shelf. Like, that's huge. The fact that I can just take a book that I've spent hours working on and hold the actual physical fruit of my labor and go, I did this. This is cool. This is all right, isn't it? Bunch of paper with words on. I did that. I think I get a lot of excitement just by, this is digging deep. I get a lot of excitement by providing other people opportunities. So I'm working on a thing at the minute, which it's my thing at the minute, that is secret. It's going to apply to Activated Authors in the new year, but it involves bringing more people sort of into the orbit of what I'm doing. Obviously, I wrote a book on collaboration. I'm writing a book with another author in November. And I really just enjoy sharing that process and learning from other people, as well as trying to like cement my own learning and then trying to give something back as well. I'm surprised by how much of this is very, people and non-fictiony, I guess.
I'm not.
And then just and then finding something that really grabs my attention, whether that's like a TV show or a book or a series. Oddly enough, one thing that I'm paying more attention to with myself at the minute is I've gotten very good at reading the first books in series, because I want to know whether or not the series is worth reading, but also how people shape that first book. But what I haven't done in ages is read through an entire series. Like the last time I did that was Stephen King's Dark Tower, and that was about 4 years ago. So that's something I'm looking for. But when I think we said this on the last couple of episodes, actually, when I was reading The Priest of Blood by Douglas Clegg, like I was drinking every single word. Like I loved just that experience of getting to the page and reading it and finding out what's happening next, and that kind of draw, that hook that you have.
We should, not this quarter, but next quarter, so quarter one, we should do a group reading challenge to finish series, because I also have a few series that are unfinished that I really ought to finish. So maybe perhaps we could like write a list of the things that we've read the first books to and need to really finish the series, and then sort of collectively be accountable for doing that. That would be cool, because I'd like to do that as well. Actually, I have got better at finishing series, but I have probably got 5 or 6 series that I've read the first book or two.
Yeah, and then I think, there are lots of little things. One of them is just sitting in a coffee shop, in a bookshop, and sitting down with like a latte, just surrounded by books, and just either reading or fiddling away on my laptop. I just enjoy that smell and that atmosphere and that kind of just warm feeling. Bailey,
is that your business?
Can be.
What sparks joy in your business?
Bailey.
Okay.
No, like in a very sort of adjacent way, if I haven't seen him for a weekend because he's been with his mum for certain things, or like if I've had a really good weekend with him, that helps fuel me and move me forward and actually like enjoy the work I'm doing.
Okay.
Because it's on those times where I don't get the work done and I feel guilty when I'm around him because I have the work to do, but also spending time with him. So in a way that does affect my business too.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a few answers there.
Yeah. No, that's good.
Okay.
I wondered where you would go with it. I wasn't sure. Obviously, I had the benefit of knowing that this was what was that I was gonna ask. And so yeah, funny enough, one of the things that I've written on my list is on your list, but in a slightly different way. So one of the things that brings me joy is seeing the book stack grow. So and that is such a competition thing, but like I like to see the measurement grow, like the height of the book stack, like how high are all of the words that I've written, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's
I buy the books that I've ghostwritten just so I can add that to my pile.
Yeah. I would do that too. Like that doesn't surprise me in the slightest. I would do that too. Okay, so some of the things that bring me joy. Well, I've spoken about some of them. Deconstruction. I had forgotten how much joy. Like I have literally been ecstatic reading in this way. The thing that I need to make sure that I do with deconstruction is follow through. And the reason I need to do that is because the other thing that brings me joy is lessons learned.
Yes.
So like this is like task and finish, right? So and funnily enough, in my bloody Clifton Reports thing, it says you really like reflecting on what you've done well and what needs to be done better.
You need to reflect on your Clifton Report a bit more.
I know. Fucking thing, man. Honestly. So yeah, like so yeah, it's what I do with the information in here going forward that also brings me joy. So and that content fuels the creation of nonfiction books for me. So I just need to go back to my roots, I think, and do the things that I was doing when I started this business, because a lot of that I have stopped doing. And so yeah, like that brings me deep joy. The other thing that brings me joy in this business is that feeling of home. And whether that's like in the community, whether that's finding a genre that you love to read, whether that's finding like a genre that you love to write, like that feeling of coming home and knowing that what I'm doing is right. Like I was speaking to a new parent yesterday or this week, maybe 2 days ago, in the playground, and sort of they were new to the school and they were sort of talking about what they do and stuff. And there is such a difference between when I ask somebody what they do and when I reply and tell people what I do. And I am so alive when I get to tell people what I do. And it really, I find it painful to see that other people don't have that joy with their jobs, and some, people are happy and that's fine if that, but there is a difference, I think, where some people are really alive when they talk about their job. Anyway, I can't remember the feeling of home. Yeah. And so this, I just love feeling like I found the place that I'm supposed to be. So that's another thing. There's a couple more. Playing with voice at the moment is something that is really giving me joy. It used to be finding really good description or creating really good description, and I do still love that, but I think I go through these phases of different bits of craft that I really love, and at the moment the thing that's bringing me joy is playing with voice. Community, obviously. Completing things I absolutely love. And I'd forgotten how much I love completing things, and that is really going to change how I work going forward. So yeah, I know, I'm such a bell end, like, for not really realizing these things. Shut up. But anyway, and then the thing, so there's two last things. One is the web of connectivity.
Interesting.
So that's a concept that I talk about in 10 Steps to Hero. And it's basically this concept of making every single facet and aspect of your book connect. So like when your characters are representations of theme, when the obstacles in the book are an obstacle based on the theme, like all of these things where the whole story becomes more than like the sum of its parts. And I really like creating books where that's the case, because you can slap out a story where like these things aren't necessarily interconnected, and it's a story that is purely about plot, or it's purely about a character. But I really, really derive great joy from creating stories where all of those things have been really intentionally thought out and intentionally put in. And that's not to say a story that doesn't have a really solid web of connectivity isn't well thought out. It's just the way that I'm explaining it. Like, this is the thing that I like to do. I lied, there's 2 more. Very quickly, performing. I fucking love performing. Like, I grew up as an actress. Like, I don't know why I didn't know that that was a thing that I love, but like, I nearly became an actress. I was a lead actress on a fucking TV show on CBBC. Like, of course I'm gonna love performing.
Show notes.
No, we're not putting any show notes. Do you know, I don't even have a copy of it. Like, I've only got it on VHS, so I have to get it turned into CD, but I don't know how to do that. So I'm just like keeping these bloody VHS videos. Anyway, not the point. But I really, really love performing. And this is a performance. My podcast is a performance. Like, it's not like, and I don't mean that to say that, you know, we're not. Yeah, I don't mean it in a disingenuous way. I just mean like, I get to have fun and like bring my highest energy, and you know, because that's
a very different podcast if we were just like sometimes how we are in sprints.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And the audio booking stuff, like, I love that. That brings me joy. Like, that performance side, really, really, really don't like the technical editing side of it, but the performance side I love. And so yeah, I am thinking about how I can do that going forwards. And then last, but by no means least, because I probably left this to last because it's the most important, seeing impact.
Yes.
So I love, and I cannot explain to you how much I love hearing that I've made people laugh, or that I have made learning fun, or that I have helped somebody over a craft blockage, or somebody has learned something from something I've said. Like, I cannot describe the level of joy that I receive knowing that I have had an impact on somebody and that I have helped them grow and develop and make better prose, make better stories. Like, I love knowing that the things that I put in the world help people to write better. And yeah, like, I don't think people realize how much authors appreciate hearing those things, because like, I like, you know, I feel like I'm a parrot, because I'm like, you know, every time somebody says something like that to me, I'm like, thank you so much. Like, I really appreciate it, but like, I really appreciate it. Like, I genuinely do. And
yeah, appreciate sometimes comes across as quite dismissive, but it's really not.
No, like, oh my God, I appreciate hearing that so much, because like, we don't know unless you tell us. We don't know if what we are doing is having an impact in the world. And so I'm so grateful that people take the time to tell us and to say, you know, this is this helped me, or I loved this, or they leave a review or whatever, because yeah, like, it brings me so much joy knowing I'm having an impact, like, and a positive impact on people. So yeah,
I still freak out a tiny bit of that sometimes. Like, do you ever have those moments where someone has sent a thing and said, oh, thanks to you, I've like gotten over this block and I now know how to move forward, and you're like, what if it was wrong? What if I've not actually set them up in a good way and it's just like my understanding, but it's not translated in the way that you want it to?
No, shit. I don't have that. I think my self-assurance wouldn't, I don't understand what you're talking about. That is not a concept that I know I'm right. So, you know.
Yeah. No, I get that every like couple of weeks or like a few months or so, I'll have just a tiny moment where someone will contact me and I'll be like, oh, cool, I'm glad you got something from that. In the back of my head, I'm going, God, I hope that was right.
No, do you know what the thing that I get that is, I suppose, a slight differentiation on a slight variant on that is that I'm like, oh, I could have added more.
Yeah.
But that's because I've learned more. So like,
and also people aren't always ready to hear more.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like, if I ever go back and do a second edition, I would probably make the villains book twice as big as it is, because there's so many more things that I've learned and so many more things that I just didn't know back then. So, you know, I know that whatever I put out is the best that it can be at that point in time for me. But that's not to say that I, you know, because then obviously I grow and develop and I can add more. But anyway. Yeah, so sparking joy. Yeah, I thought you would like that question. I thought it would hit your hashtag number 4 positivity.
It's Tidy Up with Marie Kondo still on Netflix.
Yes.
Well, I
Have you
don't know
not-
why I devoured that series. Like when it
I
first
know.
came out, I was like on it, and I was like, "Oh, that's a good way to fold some socks."
I
But it did
definitely
also. It
watched
was around the time I was looking into a lot of like minimalism stuff, and as I moved here, I got rid of a load of stuff, and as I moved to the new house, I'll probably be moving, like minimizing even more. But I'm finding much more deliberate joy in selecting the things that I want in and around my life. So that's a big
Yeah.
thing as well. Even
I
with
have
even
too
with
much
writing,
stuff. I need to get
Yeah.
rid of stuff.
yeah, even with writing, just to like round off your question, I guess it's if you're not finding the things that spark joy, then is it really? Are you doing the right things?
Exactly.
Because again,
Yeah.
sustainability comes from enjoyment.
Yeah. And that's kind of why I wanted to ask the question, because I wanted to see if there would be any things that came up that you weren't doing. And I think, I think that we have gone on this path of wibble wobbling to find the things that spark joy. And I think we're at the point where we have cut the shit that doesn't. And I thought it was a well-timed question.
There we go. So we don't have to do a what are we doing next week at the end of the episodes anymore. We've got our thing that I'll post that up into the Facebook group today.
Yeah.
So it's all there for people. But yeah.
Oh, wow, I don't understand. So we're not leveling up our business this week. No, that we actually are. Okay, so the question of the week for the audience is, what sparks joy for you? Wait, what is that the question? What is that how I worded it? In your
What
business?
sparks joy?
What sparks joy?
What sparks joy in your business?
In your business, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and we will see you next week. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Hungry for more?
If you enjoyed this podcast, you can hear more of my angelic accent and Dan's dulcet tones on our other podcasts.
For more of me, check out the Great Writer Share podcast.
For more of me, listen to the Rebel Author podcast. We'll be back next week holding each other to account as Dan
And Sasha.
become
Next level.
authors.
How good are you at like actually plate spinning with plates covered in whipped cream?
Not great.
Just asking for a friend.
Not great. Not great at all.